What is going well? What is going well? What is going well? I have been working on a quilt for many, many, many months, and I finally got the binding machine sewed on it, and now I'm hand sewing the rest of it down. That's going really well because I'm finally getting this far on it, and it's exciting. Yes.
Yay. And it's crazy because we have all these things that are going, could go wrong and why we give ourselves excuses for all this stuff. However, there's still that day we can get it done. So is
Right.
that all you got going well today?
Is that all? Well, let's
Yeah.
see. I had breakfast. I took a nap. I slept really good last night. Um, I'm on my third huge glass of water today because I have been very
Already?
negligent on water.
Awesome sauce. So thank you so much for last minute. You know how I roll last minute. Come on. Hey, do you want to do a live with me? And you're like, sure. And you need friends like that in your world that you just ask for adventure and they're down for it.
Right.
I love it. And I asked you if you were down to go for Wellness Wednesday. And I'm sure that's because wellness, hello, that's what we love.
Right.
But the kick to this was really what's going well because in my Awaken My Inner Power high vibe morning challenge, I talked about that a lot. Like at the end was like no complaining. When you talk to people, what do we do when we first talk to people? Like we want to talk about everything starting off in the conversation, like what's going well?
Right. Exactly. And what do they do? What do they do? They start saying, "Well, I didn't get this done and I didn't get that done and so made me do this and blah blah blah." And you're like, "Oh, wait a minute. That's everything else. What went well? Let's start off on a
Yes.
high note, not a down low note."
Because they're already starting off on that low energy, blah, blah, blah. Because this is what I wanted to bring into awareness. I was at a local diner and waiting to pay, and the lady was sitting there taking the money, and there was a customer that was just talking and talking and talking. Great customer service. I get it. But the information she was telling her was like, oh, and this is her second time with cancer and her chemo. And like, okay, that's great that's what's going on in your world. That's not great that that's what's going on in your world. However, you're projecting your shadows, your energy, whatever that negative, low stuff is going on in your world to everyone else that you're speaking this to. And whenever I'm going through one of the practices, is what's going well, like no complaining. So I've asked people that I come in contact with to in their world, especially people that are in customer service. I have people that are in the medical field, which are my favorites because they're already dealing with the people that want to talk about everything going wrong in their world. So the amazing ripple effect that I've gotten, the feedback that I have gotten from that is just so amazing. The one client that I'm talking about, she shifted her language because she was like, it's true. They just, oh, this is going on. And I have this doctor's appointment and I got this prescription and I got this and everything going wrong. So she started asking, hey, what's going well in your world? And her whole response is totally different. But the important part for self-reflection and learning, because we used to do that too, just
Oh
spit out
yeah. Oh yeah.
everything going wrong in our world, but to watch the eyes and to watch the face, because the brain and the body is so used to talking about everything going wrong in the world that when you say something that is not going to bring that out, their brain goes, wait, what's going well? And it takes them a minute
Yeah.
to do it.
Yep. Yep.
But what sounds better? And this is the other twist to that. We are doing a disservice, human to human, by asking people, hey, how are you doing today? Because I don't have a number. This is all theory and from experience. But 9 out of 10 people, when you say that to them, oh, great. How are you? It's going great. Thank you for asking. But inside, you just triggered something that about everything going wrong in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they're lying to themselves the moment that you ask, hey, how are you doing today?
I'm
And with,
fine.
I'm
No.
I'm fine. What else? I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Things are good. And
Yep.
inside you're going, "Ram, oh my God, I'm broken." And all these stories that are not going wrong. This got happened today. So and so happened. This appointment or did it at home. Like you're completely not in the present moment. So ask that question. Like when you asking someone, how are you doing today? And you get the lying to self, they're lying to themselves right off the bat. So is that a service to them or a disservice to them? And then
Absolutely disservice. Absolutely.
versus saying, hey, what's going well?
Yeah.
Now you just shifted in this wording. Now they're going to think about something going well in their world. May take a minute and you'll see it. Like if you really test me, please test me and write us back what you get from this. But they now, when you're in that conversation versus everything going wrong in the world, and you're the person listening, are you really listening? Oh, that's sorry. Oh, are you sorry? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, so you get caught in that energetic right there versus the saying, what's going well? They sit in a minute, they get in their present moment to think what's going well. And now you're excited because they're excited because they talk about something going good.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you were saying, even when you made the comment about just asking them how they're doing, and they automatically go to, well, this isn't working and that isn't working and whatever, we as the listener have also created an automatic response, you know, and our automatic responses as a listener are like, oh, I'm sorry, oh, that's too bad, you know, I hope everybody's doing okay. And those are automatic responses. And you're not really listening because you've heard so many negative when you've asked that question to people over your lifetime that you just automatically respond to what I just, you know, how I just said it. And when you change it and ask what's going well, and like you said, it throws the person for a loop because they're so used to being negative that now they think about it and it changes how you're listening to them. Your ears are hearing it different. So you even have to think about your response because you're not going to give your automatic, what's going well? Oh my gosh, I got to get up and exercise today. Oh, I'm sorry. You're not going to give that automatic response anymore.
Yeah,
You got to shift and think it differently. So
yeah.
what a difference. Yeah, for sure.
So true right there. And I did drop the link in the comments. If anyone is scrolling through this and it resonates and you want to hop in here, or you're in a situation you want a quick charge up, hey, we are your two girls to do that. So, but understanding when this is being done in a collective all day long, especially if you're in a on a customer service, medical, um, just dealing with customer service all the time, and you're asking those questions, you're being kind, you're being customer service. You want to, you know, bring in goodness from them and let them be heard, but let them be heard in such a different way where it's vibrating a whole different energy with them, with you, and everyone leaves in a whole different space versus sitting in there. Because I promise you, let me see. I mean, I say that with confidence because they have probably repeated that about 10 times before they even saw you. And
Mm-hmm.
they're going to repeat it 10 times. Hey, it could shift. But if you open that, how are you doing today? They're going to unload all that. Then they're going to go to the next person and repeat that
Yep.
10 more times throughout their day.
And what does that do? That sets your mind up to constantly think negatively, always in a bad light, and you're who's the Winnie the Pooh character? Eeyore,
You're,
I'm
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yes. And that dark little shadow over him
Yeah.
all the time, all
Yeah.
the time. And I'm in a space right now where I can see that shadow coming a mile away. And I guess that's why I'm on here right now, because if you come in contact with 10 people that you just have seen every month the time before, or ever so often, especially if you're working in a atmosphere where you're constantly seeing like the same people, you just shifted. Even the next time that they see you,
Yeah.
they're going to be like, this person, I shifted an energy in me and it made me feel good when I left them. And you know what? They're going to probably come up and say, guess what happened to me today? And be eager to tell you everything, what's going well in their world. But as you said it, Joanna, when we are getting in, when we're in a session with a client, and that is across the board how it starts. I even find myself getting caught up in it when I'm with a client from a long, that's been with them for a long time, that I can get caught back in their loop because they want to just unload everything
Yeah.
that's going wrong right now.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, but can we shift it to what is going well? And then when we start talking about that, the whole thing just changes.
Yeah.
The whole dynamic of the session just changes.
And the environment feels lighter. It doesn't feel so heavy and weighted like when we're dumping all our negativity out.
Yeah. And then I'm not saying that negativity is not, I mean, there's a time and a place for it.
Yeah.
But when you're going into strangers or having conversation about illnesses and politics and what's going on wrong with the world, when I was thinking about going on live about this, I thought about how when everything's going wrong, and they even say this like in market or like reviews and stuff, like it takes one bad experience with one customer for 10 people to know versus your good experience where only 3 to 5 people will know.
Yeah.
And just like with gas prices, when gas prices are high, I don't know, because my husband's very amazing. Hey, bro, I just saw that your comments, I just got on the Facebook thing. Um, uh,
Gas prices go up.
yeah, so I don't know, but I can go on Facebook and find, I mean, it'll be just in my newsfeed. Oh my God, complain, complain, complain. And then one day I was looking, I was like, wow, gas is wow, it's cheap. But you don't go on Facebook and see, hey, the gas prices are amazing right now. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 Bad news, negativity spreads, bad customer service spreads 1,000 times faster than anything positive or good. It just takes, I don't understand it, because don't you want to lift up the world? Don't you want people to feel excited? So why wouldn't you want to share something good that's happened to you today? And that just is a tail effect, not a tail effect, but it's just an effect that just keeps going and going and going, because that person who's received it was like, oh yeah, that is something good. Let me post something in Facebook about what's good that's happened.
Yeah.
And it just hits the next person and the next person, and
It
let's be happy and joy.
it changes energy
Yeah. Yeah.
from how you're thinking, how you're speaking, how, even like when things are going out of whack or not according to, I mean, I don't know what according is to, because right now I'm just riding the wave of life and it's like, okay, well, this is where I'm supposed to be if this happened.
Yeah.
However, um, when you are thinking and speaking it out, to me, I'm starting to find that I don't want to use the word selfish because I just had a session talking about why is selfish is looked at as bad.
Mm-hmm.
In our world, in coaching, we are like, no, selfishness is good. I am literally just told a client because this word selfish keeps popping up and she feels guilty for putting boundaries up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, so can we reword that to where it means love to you, self-love? Like selfishness is saying yes to myself, like
Yeah.
rewording it because this word came up to me sometime back about because this is not the first client. What does selfish mean to you when I say selfish?
Well, it does have a negative feel to it,
Yeah.
it does. It's like, I don't want to be selfish. I don't want people to think that I'm doing stuff just for me. However, when I think about it, it is really protecting yourself. It's protecting yourself from people who want to criticize, or people who want to judge, or people who want to take away your happiness. Selfish is a protection. It's a protection for you to be able to step into another place and be happy. And I mean, honestly, I feel like it's boundaries. You're putting boundaries around yourself to protect you. And there is nothing wrong with boundaries, nothing, because you're protecting yourself. Also, you're protecting the other person. Because when you put boundaries on, the other person knows I can only go this direct, this so far with this person.
Mm-hmm.
And once I cross over that, I've crossed their line. And if they get mad at me, or, something negative comes out of it, it's my own choice because I chose to cross that boundary,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So you're protecting the other person as much as you're protecting yourself when you put up boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah. I went, so when the selfish part came on, I was like, I want to do a live about this. I went to go look up the word for it, and I was like, how can I do a live on that? There's nothing to feed me back other than my word, and who am I? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I'm seeing it, how it affects us through our growth and through our connection to ourselves is it is a huge block that has to be reworded. Beliefs have to be changed, all that, but it really shouldn't be that big of a block for one word. And when I went to look it up, I just pulled it up right now. I was like, there's no way I can, what basis do I have on this when Webster and Google and Microsoft say selfishness of a person, actions, or motive lacking consideration for others, concerned chiefly with one's own personal profit or pleasure. Exactly. Who do I need to call and what do I need to go do to get this word changed? How are you letting people believe that that is wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. It's talk about. I think it makes, in order to get it changed, maybe not the dictionary version, but just communicating it out there to the world so other people can say selfish. Oh, okay, it doesn't necessarily have a negative place. It can be a very positive place. And it's just doing what we're doing, going out there and letting people hear our conversation and help them understand what we mean when we say you're being selfish. Give them our understanding of it, not Webster's dictionary.
Yeah.
Webster's dictionary is not necessarily wrong. It's not wrong, because people who do things um, for themselves in a negative way, I'm going to do this because I want whatever. I want all the money, or, just whatever, being greedy,
Well, this
that
is what it says right here. If you say that someone is selfish, you disapprove of them because they care only about themselves and not about other people.
but yes and no. I agree with that definition. However, when we're talking about our own selves and having growth, individual growth,
Mhm.
um, opportunities, it's not, it's not a negative place, because it's a very positive thing when we are putting ourselves first to get out of a bad situation. For example, say you're in an abusive relationship and you want out of that. Well, who do you put first? You certainly don't put the abuser first. You have to put yourself first.
Mhm.
And that's selfish, because you're going to grow out of that bad situation and be a better person and have understanding. Over time, you have understanding of the reasons of the relationship.
Right.
You understand your part of it, and you understand the abuser's part of it, as an example. And so you're definitely going to put yourself first. That is not negative. That's not bad. That is a very good, positive thing.
Mhm.
So I think when you're putting yourself first to um, have growth and more opportunity for you to get in a better place in your own life, that is very positive. When you look at it as selfish in a way that, I want all of these things because they're going to make me a better person, or I want this, or I want, you keep, I want. It's a negative way to be selfish.
Yeah.
I
And
don't know.
I get that, but it's too much of a block. That one word is too much a block because it's not just this client that I had this morning. I've had several conversations where this word is even in the I love you, and my whole brand right now with mirror mirror on the wall. Like, I've had a client tell me that it was so hard to look at herself in the mirror and say I love you because she felt selfish.
Mm,
She
mm.
felt, what was the other word? Conceited. Um, which is
So
kind of
here's a
go.
question to throw out. What does conceited mean to you? What does conceited mean to you? And they give you what they believe conceited means, and then throw out what else could conceited mean to you. So now what you're doing is you're giving that person an opportunity to look at that word in two different ways, in two different lights, and then they'll give you an answer. And well, what else could that mean?
Mhm.
What's another possibility? And if you do that with the word selfish, you start to um, relax that word. So
Yeah.
you've got more definition, more ways to think about it versus just what's written down in black and white on a dictionary, you
And what
know?
has just been the language to be
Yeah,
felt and associated with that.
right.
Because I reframed it in the sense of I'm speaking in a as you, and what if this looked like this? Sorry, I will get with you in an hour. I'm being selfish right now. I
Yeah,
am doing my meditation. I am doing my, plug into love right now.
right.
And well, that just sounded like so much love. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
you know, goes along with belief and changing all that. But it's just crazy how that word is just so,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So, back to the going well, like how better, I mean, how much energy shifts happen with that one word, that one question, that one shift gonna do. Like it I have had a client tell me that she's implemented it in her morning at work and she sees the face, she sees it going on. She couldn't help but chuckle and be like, oh my God, there it is.
Yeah.
And so another client uses it at work. She started using it at work and she got started getting these credits like when a patient what's the word I'm looking for?
Survey, like does a survey or
Like a
scores on it?
yeah, like
Yeah.
uh a review, like
Uh-huh.
a acknowledgement of good customer service. And she's gotten several of them since this practice has come into her.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
she says that it just amazes her and makes the conversation and the whole experience through setting up the patient through that process has just completely changed. Like she loves having conversation with them now and bringing out what's going well. And I'm just like, we got to get this out there. This is like no
Yeah.
secret, you know?
Right. Right.
But think about it. Think about it when you're listening, even in the stores, because I hear it in the stores. I'm very observant and I hear the conversations going on and I'm going, can I just go give her a hug and ask her what's going well? But I can't do that because then I would be the village weirdo and like what's going on with
What do
her.
you mean? You already are the village weirdo. What are you talking about?
I keep getting weirder and weirder, I swear.
That's their problem. You just do
So,
you.
I wanted to get that out because I
Yeah.
think that it brings just so much more high vibe energy versus
There's a lot more smiling going on within the
yeah,
conversation when you ask what's going well.
yes,
Yes, there
smile.
is.
And it
Yeah.
just goes to the show with 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 even the word selfish that we were just talking about. Um the energy when someone is being selfish in a negative light, you're gonna feel that.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
see it, you're gonna hear it. But when you genuinely see someone being selfish, pat them on the back.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
job for being selfish
Right.
today.
Right. 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 My daughter and I had a conversation yesterday, and she has a husband who's not a communicator, and so it's really hard to for her to get what she's thinking across to him because he just doesn't respond in a way that's helpful to her. And something came up and she texted him. They do better if they text each other versus trying to talk in person. She texted him this big long thing, and I was like, you go. And I mean, she was speaking from her heart and stepping into who she was. And I said, Sarah, there is nothing wrong with that. You do that because that is her true personality, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and another whole conversation you could get on. She was on medication for anxiety, and that's kind of muted her. Well, she's been off of it for a couple of months, and now she's thinking and she's stepping into who she is and what she thinks and how she words things. And I said, you just do that because that's so important. Because when you're on the medicine, it just kind of numbs that. It just keeps you in this plane that you can't express yourself when you're feeling
When it's
numb.
doing its job.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just I
Right.
just had a whole live on this and I would love to connect with people who have been on antidepressants and anxiety for time and have been told you cannot just stop this medication. You have to be through your psychologist and doctor and have to be
Right.
weaned off and all that, which I understand, but it's like me who speaks energy fluently understands if with confidence and because I've experienced myself, if you took away the medication and saw yourself, because I even asked my client, you today, You've been on this medication for, I don't remember how, 12 years.
Wow.
You today, are you in the same space mentally and emotionally that you were when when you felt there was no other resource out there and that was all you had? And she's like, no, not at all. But what caused it to begin with was the war with self in the mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is where we're at a standpoint right now because she's really needing to feel and open up the heart center and really feel, and she's like, I just don't feel. I know I can. It's happened before, but and then we broke down to the medication. And I'm like, why would it not be the reason? Why would it not be? That job for that pill is to do what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So to hear your daughter, to hear you say that this just happened in her world is like gold to me because it gives people the belief that if one person can do it, and I'm sure there's a whole backstory, and that's why I would love to get everyone in a Zoom room, to that you can do it, that you
Yeah.
can. But when we hear the words that we hold on to make an agreement with ourselves that that is to be true, no, it stays that way.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, the world is set up so that what doctors tell you, you trust them. You
Mhm.
trust their words. And if you say it works, then I will take it. And my doctor said, and, you know, so I think that's what is really starting to come out now, a lot of whole health nutrition versus just the pill form. There's a lot of other pieces that come into play when you're talking about whole health body. So it's just
And
but
I
we
get it. I
yeah.
get it. I mean, and the job that what is the doctor's job to diagnose and prescribe.
And there
That's a
are people out there that definitely need it, that should not
yes,
come off of their medicine. That's
yes,
not to say everybody should be off their medicine. There are
yes,
definitely people that need their medicine.
yes,
And that's right. That's absolutely true. But it
yes,
doesn't mean everybody who's starting to feel a little anxious has to be on an anti-anxiety medication
right.
because there are other tools to use.
Yeah, and I'm a living example of that because I too, like your dog, know that there's a light at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah.
And yes, prescriptions are good when needed in situations. Um, but again, it gets down to what was the root? Where did it
Right.
stem from? What
Right.
caused it? And in my world right now, in my energy world, it all stems from some chronic thought process, energy, trauma, something that is trapped within the system that is there, that is just trapped.
Yeah.
Especially in my Qigong right now. Like in my Qigong practice, understanding how the energy, what emotions tie to each organ.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was a big eye opener for me with that, with even being able to tie it to a real situation with my mom and what her medical things have been reporting from her doctor. And I'm like going through my movement and Qigong and learning. And I was like, wait, that's mom, did you have this? Mom, did you have that? Mom, did you have? She's like, yeah, yeah. And then I sent her what I was learning, and I'm like, and you're having problems with what? Your kidneys. So all that emotion, all that worry and fear and anxiety, grief, everything that was she has been absorbing in her world is
Right.
now
Settled
showing
into her
up
kidneys.
in this way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
really really hard for me at this point when people say, this is wrong with me. This is, like, oh, my back hurts or my knee or oh my God, my hip hurt or whatever. My brain just goes into, well, let's see, what have you been feeling? And then it's so amazing to hear them say, and I'm like, there's the connection.
Yeah.
So it's just so energy's so amazing. And that's why we're
It's
on here. So we can shift this energy from, hey, how are you doing? And having people lie to themselves. And then you hear a not so interesting or not interesting, but
a whole list of reasons why they're not feeling good.
yeah, versus amazing. Oh, my grandbaby came over today, or my dog did this, or like it's just change the energy. Let's change energy.
Right. Right.
You have the power to do so. I have the power to do so. Everybody on this earth has the power to do so. Especially when I hear what's going on in the world right now, which we won't talk about, but could we use a little bit more of what's going well?
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's crazy out there. Just what's going well, folks? What's going well?
Really, what's going well?
Yeah.
Really, that's all it takes is one little what is going well for you today. And watch some good vibes, high vibes happen.
Yep. Yep.
So excited that
Awesome.
that came out. So excited. So Joanna and I too will be doing a YouTube Facebook Live soon. We have not got down the dates. Speaking of going well, this woman is just like so high vibe to me because when you get sick, your immune system like takes it, but you're out of it quicker than most people. And I truly believe it's because you are just so high vibe.
Thanks. My immune system has been very good to me from the very beginning of my life.
Hey, but that has something
And
to say about you.
well, right. And, I've always heard that you're such a positive person and you always come, I would show up to work. You always come in with a smile on your face. It was just always, I don't know, it's just how I presented myself to the world. So, yeah, last week I never actually got officially diagnosed with the flu, but I was with my daughter and son-in-law, and they both got diagnosed, and then their son got sick and had it. And I had been with all of them. And so I ran a fever for about 36 hours, not super high, but enough to not go anywhere. And I think for me, when I get sick like that, the worst thing is exhaustion. I'm just tired. I just don't have the energy to do it and to function. And so drink water, rest, and just let your body heal and binge watch Netflix or whatever you want to do.
Funny movies. I always say just watch funny movies like
Oh,
Disney
yeah.
movies, things that make you just laugh.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because when you think about it, when you're sitting down and you're thinking about something and it's heavy, your whole body just kind of goes, ugh. But if you shift it and think about something light or funny or remembering some silly thing you saw on Facebook that made you laugh, the difference in how you carry yourself and how you feel is totally at two ends of the spectrum.
Mhm.
It's really different. And it's what you talk about. It's the energy that you put into it. And when you're in a good positive energy space, you're going to heal better because everything is flowing nice and the cells appreciate all that, and they're
Mhm.
going to do their job better. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I just wanted to, I mean, I love that about you because
Mm,
we've been friends for what, 3 years now? Is it?
maybe longer.
And the times that your immune system goes down or is in at war with for you, I'm like, I mean, you're like, oh, I'm sick, and I'm just like, oh, and you're just like, oh, yeah, you have this, like, I'm this is I already know there's a process going on. I'm just going to rest and give my body the time to do it and be me, and I'll be good. And you just always come out of it like so quick. And I take that on. I mean, I believe that to be true because I see you do it.
Yeah.
And so I love that about you. But yes, we are going to be doing a Facebook Live, and it's going to be super, super duper. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm oozing to talk about this topic because it's where I'm at in my life, and I think it's where you are at in your space. But however, it's just two different views that are going to be so amazing. And we will have that date out soon, as soon as we can get a time and date. And I would love to have interaction with this. I will probably use this as an event, so we could get more people involved in this topic
Mm,
to bring into awareness.
cool.
So
Cool.
thank you
We're
so much for
excited.
hopping on. And remember, what's going well? Be the ripple effect in this world today.